we live in a very politicized time. But, when people are fighting for their lives, when their whole livelihood is at stake, when they've lost everything, if you can't put politics aside for that, then you're just not going to be able to. So I'll work with anybody who wants to help the people of Southwest Florida and throughout our state.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and a story catching some headlines in the wake of Hurricane Ian. Well, that story is Ron DeSantis has voted against aid in the past.
As a freshman congressman in 2013, Ron DeSantis was unambiguous. A federal bailout for the New York region after Hurricane Sandy was an irresponsible boondoggle, a symbol of the put it on the credit card mentality he had come to Washington to oppose. Quote, I sympathize with the victims, but his answer was no.
Now imagine that. Imagine somehow making help to an area affected by a disaster into something political. Well, he's done it, even though he seemingly condemns it now. DeSantis and decisions of him and his ilk are blaringly hypocritical. And here's the thing, pointing out that hypocrisy will simply give him another reason to cry. This pattern is something we've gone through a million times. A GOP member cuts funding or votes something down, touts that as fiscal responsibility, but then when it happens to them, well, when they need it, they take full credit and try to assume the role of the hero. It's disgusting, but that's their playbook. DeSantis has claimed that talking about climate change in a sensical, science-based way is left-wing stuff. What he's really saying is how scared he is of actually tackling the problem with nuance.
Well, what I've found is people, when they start talking about things like global warming, they typically use that as a pretext to do a bunch of left-wing things that they would want to do anyways. And so we're not doing any left-wing stuff.
You see, the rhetoric has really shifted with the takeover of the MAGA GOP. If you look back 10 to 15 years ago, Republicans actually spoke about and were concerned with climate change. The Bush administration did speak about climate change and environmental concern.
The United States is committed to strengthening our energy security and confronting global climate change. And the best way to meet these goals is for America to continue leading the way toward the development of cleaner and more energy-efficient technology.
But Trump came in and said that it was all a hoax, and it was set in stone for people like DeSantis. Instead of following in the footsteps of your party, your role as a leader should be to deliver and protect your constituents. But those in the MAGA GOP only hear what Trump has said, and they run with it. So now, in the aftermath of this devastating hurricane, DeSantis is claiming the credit for working with the Biden administration, all while being someone who has and more than likely will vote down help for other states affected by climate change. It's also plausible that any infrastructure reform or preparations in place will be painted as Washington Democrats spending all of your money and wasting it. Folks, this is the thing, and I cannot say it enough. There are no good faith arguments from the MAGA GOP. The absolute brain rot of following the Trump cult has festered at the root of what these people were voted in to do. There is no accountability or nuance. It's all in Trump making a headline with a ridiculous claim and them running with those pair of scissors for him. Note that when they trip and fall, Trump will laugh in their faces, but their loyalty knows no bounds, even as DeSantis is being floated as a candidate for 2024, and he still falls sharply in line with the same talking points. Florida deserves better than DeSantis, and our country certainly deserves better in 2024. Let's just hope that their petulant infighting continues and they finally break from the MAGA stain on the country. Until then, keep their hypocrisy in check and tabs on the receipts. We'll be here to remind them of who they work for, and that's you, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.